Hello and welcome to the Atomic Impact Podcast, designed to help business owners and leaders with short atomic episodes to impact your business for marketing, sales, business growth, personal growth, and much, much more. I'm your host, Jason Osborn, and I'm looking forward for your business and life to be positively impacted by this podcast. And as a thank you, just for listening, I'd like to give you free access to my LinkedIn mini course to help you get on the right track with LinkedIn to generate high quality leads without being spammy. All you need to do is go to www.impactforleads.com to get immediate access. Now, let's jump into today's episode. Hey guys, it's Jason Osborn here with the Atomic Impact Podcast, where I interview other successful business owners to help you as a business owner just to spark ideas and give you that atomic impact to help you grow in what you're doing in your business. And today I have Alan Stein on the podcast with me today, which I'm excited to just hear even from him more about what he's doing in this business. I know we'll learn a lot from him as well. So Alan, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, it's good to have you on the show. And I know you were just saying before we started here that you do a lot of business here in the UK as well, which is great. But hopefully we'll hear a little bit more about that as well. So one of the questions that I love to ask people on this, because I think it's a really interesting one, talking about growing business and what we're doing, is if you were to be able to somehow transport yourself back in time to when you started your business. What's the number one piece of advice that you would tell your your new self coming into your business? Probably overly excited, really hyped up, and green behind the ears. Maybe. What would you tell yourself?
Screw brand marketing, focus on performance marketing.
Okay, screw brand marketing. Focus on performance marketing. That's amazing. Give some context to that for people that might go, "Hey, that sounds good, but what do you actually mean by that?"
A lot of people that I follow and I admire talk about post social content, get out there all the time. And yes, that's important. And I've been doing that for 5 years, day after day on LinkedIn, multiple times some days.
Yeah.
It's really hard to build your business up to the place where you get brand recognition outside of all the noise that comes at us every day. So, because of that, as someone who's trying to build a business and generate revenue and feed their family, you got to go one to one. It's one to one combat, and it's direct marketing. It's not brand marketing.
Yeah, yeah. I love that because I think in a world of social media now, and that's what people just think you have to be doing all the time. And as you said, there's nothing wrong with doing it, and you still do it, but I think people want to find some sort of magic shortcut around it, and they're just going to put some stuff up there, and all of a sudden the floodgates open wide. So what kind of what made you experience that? Like that transition of realizing, hey, I'm doing this stuff, but actually that one-to-one approach is actually really, really impactful, really powerful. What was the kind of journey that you had with that?
I drank the Kool-Aid of brand marketing. I'm a big Gary Vee fan. I went out to VCon and I am a support, like, I do believe in the attention economy. But for a
Yeah.
little twig like myself to get the attention of a big enough audience to generate the revenue that I want, it takes a long time or a lot of money and or unbelievable luck. So I could have had something really viral that went, which I don't. But I think I've spent a lot of time, a lot of money, lost a lot of hair over the last 5 years, even though some wise people told me to stop going to VCon. And I love Gary Vee and I love um, a lot of brand marketing content out there. And I understand the importance of it. I worked for Google, I worked for American Express. I understand the need for it. But as a little small business owner as myself, it's the hand-to-hand combat that makes or breaks a business.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree, and I like Gary stuff as well. But I think the way you said it is really good. It's drinking that Kool-Aid. You think, oh, this is the thing, and it just takes time. You have to build up those assets, and that one-to-one approach is so incredible. Well, tell us about your business. What do you actually do? What's the service you provide, so people kind of have a little bit more context in what you're actually doing?
Yeah, so Jason, we're arguably the world's greatest career accelerator. So we help ambitious professionals land jobs that pay them 150 to $500,000 plus at the world's greatest companies, companies like Google, companies like OpenAI, companies like Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. And that one of the things that I found, it'd be interesting to hear kind of your perspective on this, Alan, is that when you are, for lack of a better term, you're kind of a recruiter, right? Now, I know you might go, no, it's not what we do at all. But it's funny how when you are doing that brand marketing, people make assumptions around actually what you do. And that is a really big thing. I think when you're talking about the one-to-one approach, you're able to overcome and help people see how different you are in that. Like, what's your experience with that?
Yeah, so I think we play in a different category. And another book I read, which I believe in, but takes a lot of work, is Category Pirates, or kind of coming up with your own category definition. And
Yeah,
I consider what we do career acceleration. You called it recruiting. A recruiter works for companies. They get paid by companies to recruit people to fill those roles. We do something different. Some people call it reverse recruiting. I don't call it that either, but some
yeah,
people call it reverse recruiting, where we work with talented individuals and help them to proactively identify where they want to go. Then we put an action plan in place that is achievable. Then we help them get there. So
yeah,
that's not a recruiter. That
yeah,
is job acquisition. So, and we are in the industry of accelerating careers. So that's what I
yeah.
consider it. But a lot of people call me a recruiter. A lot of people call me a reverse recruiter. People have called me a headhunter. People have called me asshole. People call me all different things. But I call myself a career accelerator.
Yeah, yeah. And in some ways, the way that you kind of explain that feels like maybe a career coach as well, helping coach people into that. But
So
it's
that's another term that I take that I disagree with because I am a teacher. I'm not a coach.
yes.
And coaches have more patience than I do. I am a New Yorker and I'm on the spectrum. I don't have a lot of patience.
Yeah, yeah. And I love what you're saying with that because one of the things that I'm always coaching my clients on is how you actually differentiate yourself in the marketplace. And I think the way that you've explained what you do is so much more clear because what most people would do is they would just say, hey, I'm a career coach or I'm a career coaching mentor or I am a recruiter, and you get lumped into this market all of a sudden, which isn't really what you do. And then you're on the back foot of trying to have and explain it, which is really interesting. But the way you've communicated, I think, is a really just amazing way to just showcase why it helps set you apart from other people that might seem to do something similar, but they're not actually doing what you do at all.
Yeah, and that's a battle that I continue and Kadima Careers continues to fight because there's 311,000 career experts on LinkedIn. And there's more that say that they're experts every day. And people can spew whatever snake oil that they want on LinkedIn
Yeah.
or on Twitter or on Instagram or whatever. And then it just convolutes the feed for people and it confuses people. So it drowns out all the noise. So that makes me
Yeah.
work harder, which I'm cool doing, to make sure that I'm getting the signal to people and eliminate, like, get it through all the ridiculous amount of noise that is in front of us every day.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Which leads me on to my next question, and it's similar but different. And I'm interested to hear, Alan, kind of your answer around this. What's without it being kind of the same answer or response as the other one, what's the biggest mistake that you've made in your business? And what has that taught you? Or you could even look at it a different way of what's the secret success that came out of it. Although when you made this the mistake, you're like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of failure being an acronym, like fail being an acronym. First attempt is learning. So every mistake that I've made in the 5 years of being a CEO of Kadima and the 46 years before as a human being, I've made lots of mistakes. If you continue to make those mistakes, then I think Einstein says that is the definition of insanity, to keep doing the same thing and getting the same stupid results over and over again. So
Yeah.
sometimes I've done that. Sometimes I've been a little insane and got fired multiple times. But on the business side, I've made some of the same mistakes over and over again. I'm trying to eliminate that. I'm trying to get that feedback quickly. Some of the mistakes I made was spending money with the hope that the revenue would come, rather than waiting for the revenue to come and then spend the money.
Mm,
That's been a common theme. So I've put some processes in place to limit that, but I still realize that that's a blind spot of me, and it's probably a blind spot of many entrepreneurs, of optimism, of, hey, if I
mm,
invest in this, I will get that. Well,
mm.
you wind up investing this, but you usually get half or a quarter of that. At least in lots of my experience so far.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. So what's your perspective? 'Cause obviously, some people might be thinking, yeah, but I need to be able to spend something to be able to market and get out there and do stuff. So, do you have kind of like a rule of thumb on that? Because I guess in some ways you could think about it. It could be, speculative marketing in terms of, okay, let's try and test it. Do you have like some benchmarks on where you start putting that off or testing and things like that?
People undervalue product market fit. So make sure that people are actually buying your product, that your product has fit within the market. First free, then paid, then more paid. Before, like if you're not getting people to do that with one-on-one, you're not going to do that with a Facebook ad. You're not going to do that with a
No,
LinkedIn post. You're not going to
no.
do that with a YouTube ad. So, focus on PMF, product market fit, and
Yeah.
listen to the feedback that you get from people, especially from the people that cancel. And we've always had we used to have a 30-day money back guarantee. Now we cut it to 14 days because some people were abusing it. But we always will have a money back guarantee, because that feedback of when people are asking for their money back, that is gold. Like,
Yeah.
we lost money. It sucks to give the money back, and it feels bad to let a customer down. But we always ask, what could we have done different?
Yeah.
And we've pretty much eliminated everything that we can do different in the process. Now our refund rate is down to like about 5%. It used to be as high as like 21%.
Yeah.
So there's still times when buyer's remorse and other things, that they will ask for the money back. But going back to the original question, make sure that your product works, that people are paying for it and they are sharing about it with other people. Because if not, any amount that you invest in marketing and advertising, unless you have some of the best ad agencies and celebrities and influencers that you likely cannot afford, you're not going to be able to convince people to give you a try.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree with you. Like you're preaching to the choir here, Alan. I love it, man, because it is so true. I think a lot of people, whether they're launching or whether they've been in business for a while and they've got a new service or product that they want to offer, if you got to have that product to market fit before you just start pumping loads of money into it. Because once you validated that product or service, then you start looking at ways on how to just get more reach in what you're doing for that. So I totally agree with you on that, man. It's a common mistake I see as well. Yeah, really, really good advice, man. Really good advice. Well, we're pretty much coming up on the 15 minutes, which I'm looking down at my clock. I'm going, man, how'd that go by so fast? But one of the questions I want to ask, and then two questions I'm going to ask, and the last one is how people can find you if they want more information on what you do. But as you probably know, Alan, I'm all things I geek out over LinkedIn. You've mentioned LinkedIn a few times around this. What's something that you would love to achieve more on LinkedIn right now?
It's a good question. I think more more DM, like more authentic connections in the DMs.
Yep. I think everybody wants that. That's a big problem, isn't it? A lot of people just spamming in LinkedIn and it's not authentic or real or anything. So yeah, I totally feel you on that. It's almost become an epidemic on LinkedIn, the way that people are communicating, isn't it?
Yes, we're inundated on LinkedIn. We're inundated on every platform, and LinkedIn is probably the least platform, like the lowest frequency platform that most people go to compared to Instagram and TikTok and
Yeah.
YouTube and Facebook. So, yeah, like LinkedIn is my whole world, but it's
Yeah.
not most people's whole world. And then when they go to that small piece of their world, then they're inundated in their feed.
Yeah.
You just look at
Yeah.
what crap is coming into your feed.
Yeah.
Be
It's
mindful
true.
of what the algorithm is driving towards.
Yeah. 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 Gosh, we could talk about that forever. I love this stuff. So, but yeah, totally agree with you, man. I love it. I love it. Well, look, Alan, I love what you do, man. I love your feedback. I know you gave some really good pieces of just like gold nuggets in there for people to take away from. So, if there's anyone kind of wanting to hear a little bit more around what you do, and obviously if they're like pique that interest of, oh, how do you do that with your careers? I'm interested in that. How can they find you? What's the best way to contact you?
It's three ways. One, well, four ways. One, LinkedIn. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
active there. I know I follow you, Jason, and that's how we connected here. Secondly, our website, kademacareers.com. You can find out more about our services. Third, we have a podcast ourselves, 127 episodes in, I think. I think
amazing.
it's 127, the Steer Your Career podcast. And then also we have our YouTube channel. So all those different areas that I'm trying to build all this
Fantastic.
brand marketing, and it's really the direct interactions that work. So my DMs are always open. Reach out to me and happy to chat.
Yeah. Amazing. That's wonderful. Alan, thanks so much for being on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate the conversation.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Atomic Impact Podcast. And as a reminder, please go to www.impactforleads.com to get free access to my LinkedIn mini course to help you get on the right track with LinkedIn to generate high quality leads without being spammy. And please also like and share this episode with others and leave a comment, as I'd love to hear from you. This is Jason Osborn, and I look forward to sharing the next episode of the Atomic Impact Podcast with you.